Welcome back to another incredible Reddit Stories compilation. Today we're diving into our /Talesfromtechsupport with 3 amazing stories that will keep you hooked from start to finish. Subscribe for more daily content. This story is titled "It's Great When HR Has Its Back," posted by you/SpedDie23. We had a huge issue where staff were contacting its staff directly via Teams, email, and passing or just straight up interrupting its staff when they were doing other jobs to raise their incidents and requests. Like most large organizations, we wanted all new requests and incidents to come in via the service desk, and offered staff their choice of an email, via an online portal, or calling through via a telephone call to do this. Whenever we were approached by staff directly as described above, we would always let them know they needed to log a ticket. Problem was that 90% of the time this would result in, "How do I do that?" And you would then spend 10 to 15 minutes with them going through logging a ticket with, "It's asking me to describe my problem. What do I type in? Okay, now it's asking for my phone number. Do I type in my phone number in there?" I imagine about half of this was the "I'm not good with computers, and apparently not good with basic comprehension" type. And the other half of people being so difficult that the person they were speaking to would give up and just do their request without them logging a ticket. The solution? Anyone that has worked in a large organization has probably dealt with mandatory online training learning. The type that usually relates to safety, whistleblowing, raising grievances, etc. Where you do a short online module and have a test at the end where you need to get something like 90% to 100% to pass. In this organization, this was part of the HR system and baked into the HR software package, so HR managed this. We worked with HR to develop a course called Contacting It, which was literally a course on how to log a ticket with us. And yes, there was a test at the end. All new starters would need to complete this before starting. And all existing employees has 6 weeks to complete. This was great, as after that 6-week period, whenever we got "I don't know how to log a ticket," we could mention that they would have had an online module to complete explaining how to do that. And if they don't know about this, or forgotten what to do, they should contact their manager to request training. This story is titled "Occam's Razor Strikes Again," posted by you/JamesFirmer. This next tale takes us in a completely different direction. This happened a couple of decades ago, but I was reminded of it recently. I used to work as an in-house translator and was tasked with providing it support on the side. It was a small outfit with no dedicated staff. I had no problem with this, since I was pretty good with computers at the time. And the problems that arose were rarely anything really serious. I also enjoyed the feeling of control being admin of a centralized lawn, but that's another story. So, one day a colleague came to me and said he kept getting a keyboard error when trying to start up. This colleague was a reasonably competent computer user, and the fact that he came to me meant that there had to be something actually wrong. He tried the usual first steps: unplugging and replugging the keyboard, restarting the computer. I decided to have a glance at the offending device before taking the trouble to rummage for a spare keyboard. I went to the shared workspace my colleague was in, took one look at his PC, and without saying a word, removed the banana that was resting on the enter key. This story is titled "Bossman Knows Better." Okay, posted by you/Fiducio512. And now for our final story of today. So, this happened a couple of years ago and just got reminded of it. Sorry for any spelling mistakes on mobile and non-native English speaker. I have been working here for a couple of years, worked my way up from junior support agent to supporting engineer, experienced, but not yet senior LVL. One of the things that started popping up in the ad landscape is the now M365 MFA we're all so fond of having to use. The challenge was that we had no centralized phone that held these records, or MFA keys for our smaller clients. Say the 1 or 2 people customers with M365 tenants, not the bigger 50-plus clients we had under our wings. So, more than 2 dozen of said keys were on my work-provided phone. I went on vacation for 3 weeks. Bossman was okay but said, and I quote, "You're our most experienced member when it comes this, and that is the other one left last week. Can you make sure we can call you if all hell breaks loose?" I said sure, I'll bring the work mobile with me. Any time spent on work I'll put at the end of the vacation as compensation. Bossman was okay but Can't bring the work phone due to insurance or some BS I don't remember exactly. I argued that, while I can have 2 SIM cards in my private, I wouldn't be able to help log in or anything or set up a VPN without my work phone, and wouldn't have any access to the MFA keys or prompts. He demanded the phone stayed at my home address, and I take the SIM card only. Okay, boss man, you said so. I did what he wanted. Last day before leaving, I showed him pulling out the SIM from one and putting it into my private phone, and I put my work phone inside my bag with my laptop. He was smiling and nodding, happy as a kid that he got what he wanted. Week 1 was splendid, not a single call to my surprise. Week 2. Absolute hell, but not for me. A coworker thought he could fix whatever was called in and didn't consult me, so you know what hit the fan all right. And not for one client. No sir, it hit over 50% of our small customer locations. To be able to fix it directly, they needed a global admin to undo what he messed up. Problem was though that whatever he did messed with the partner portal settings, thus losing global admin rights through there. The only way to fix that is to log in directly on the affected tenant with a global admin account. That was set up with MFA on a mobile phone, in a bag, 500 kilometers away from me. Thankfully, a different colleague had installed break glass accounts, but he never told anyone for fear of abuse of emergency accounts, aka using them in a non-emergency situation, which happened before, and wasn't in the office that day, and returned the next day fixing everything. The clients didn't notice anything major was wrong, thank God for that, but the onset panic was real. The angry boss call lasted about 30 minutes, 20 minutes of him yelling and being in a panic. 10 of me explaining why I couldn't do anything. Because I followed his words to the letter, and him just making angry bubbling noise knowing I was right. Upon returning, we finally had a centralized password fault I had been complaining about not having, with MFA possibilities as well, and we're allowed to bring the work phone with us as well. Guess he did learn something after all. That wraps up today's incredible Reddit stories compilation. If you enjoyed these amazing tales, hit like and subscribe for more daily content. What was your favorite story? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.